Harassment, abuse of power, mental illness. That is not just a list of things that you experience if you work at a restaurant for any amount of time. They are subjects that are incredibly sensitive and should be treated with care. But what if they weren't? What if there was a movie that treated all of those subjects with such wanton disregard, it became beautiful, transcending the horrors of humanity into a stratosphere of its very own? I am talking, of course, about the film Stalked by My Doctor. This is worth a watch with comedian Dan Donohue.
Good luck getting a boyfriend, because I'm not interested.
Well, I did take a full semester of gynecological studies.
Stalked by My Doctor is a film by director Doug Campbell, who directed such classics as Stalked by My Neighbor, Stalked by My Mother, and Haunted by My Stalker. You might think I made those up, and while I wish I was that good at writing, those are real movies. Now, I actually don't want to make fun of Doug because I think his films are amazing.
Mom, why are you stalking me?
Do you remember when some people first got Twitter, they were just tweeting stuff that popped in their head? I'd be in my dorm room off however many Michelob Ultras I could fit in my backpack, tweeting stuff like, what if a goldfish ate your baby? Doug has those thoughts, but he also has such amazing follow-through, he makes that thought into a movie almost immediately. Doug works a lot with the Lifetime channel. The Lifetime channel is what moms watch when they run out of money to give to televangelists. And a lot of people talk down on Lifetime movies, but I think it really is one of the last bastions of creative filmmaking. I'm sorry, Independent Film Channel, but it doesn't get more independent than Stalked by My Amish Boyfriend. That's a real movie, and if it doesn't have a scene where there's a high-speed chase between two horse and buggies, it missed the mark. Anyway, let's get into the plot of Stalked by My Doctor. A teenage girl named Sophie is rushed to the hospital after a terrible car accident. Lucky for Sophie, heart surgeon Dr. Albert Beck is at the hospital to save her life. While Sophie recovers nicely in the hospital, Dr. Beck tends to her, more than Sophie's mother would like. A mother's instinct is never wrong. That synopsis doesn't even begin to capture the movie, so I'm going to give you my own synopsis. The movie starts with Dr. Beck getting stood up on a date.
Albert, I'm sorry, but I'm not coming.
He gets so pissed off that he jumps in his car and drives 115 miles an hour down the highway.
Bitch.
And hey, I can relate to this. I don't have a nice car and I don't take dates to nice restaurants, but I have pedaled very angrily away from Long John Silver's. We then meet our protagonist, Sophie. There's no real effort to let us know who Sophie is, but she's a white woman with no tattoos, so she is who we are rooting for. She gets in a horrible car crash because her boyfriend is texting and driving.
It's that recruiter guy from USC. They want to talk to me about a scholarship.
He's texting a soccer recruiter to show us that he's getting recruited for soccer. Do we care that a soccer recruiter is texting him at 11 p.m. on a Friday? No, we don't. You know how those recruiters are, drunk dialing you on a Friday night. Doesn't it suck when you wake up from a hangover and you go, oh no, I committed to UMass Dartmouth. Anyway, they get into a car crash and Sophie's rib pierces her heart.
Well, she broke a couple of ribs. We did a CAT scan, and one of those ribs is cutting into the left ventricle of her heart.
I looked this up. It's a really serious thing to happen to you. I want you to know this because it comes into play later. So two things happen in the hospital. The doctor meets Sophie, and Sophie's dad throws her boyfriend's phone away. Seems like they're setting up that her dad is a really protective guy. This could not be further from the truth. So Sophie gets open heart surgery, which is apparently a dramatically quick recovery. Sophie gets the surgery, the doctor kisses her on the lips, just kind of normal doctor stuff happening there. And the mom senses something is wrong.
Is everything all right?
Oh, yeah. Her latest CAT scan looks really good.
The mother in this is depicted as having sort of heightened supernatural mom instincts, but all that really happens is she walks into the room and the doctor is changing her daughter's bandages without a nurse present, which is just illegal.
What was he doing?
Just now? He was just changing my bandage.
Was there a female nurse present when he was doing that?
No, should there be?
Yeah.
The mom has the supernatural ability to know when a crime has happened. And the dad just could not give a shit less.
I want the very best doctor on the West Coast looking after my baby girl. And lucky for us, he's it.
So the next time she's in his office for a follow-up exam and he totally hits on her, what is she supposed to do?
Sophie is a very beautiful young woman. Guys will be guys.
He's just like, oh my God, he's a doctor. Shut up. So she gets out of the hospital really quickly, like you do after you get open heart surgery. I'm often upset when my open heart surgery isn't an outpatient procedure. Let's hurry this up. I got Carl's Jr. to eat so we can repeat this process. And while she's recovering, the doctor is going on another date.
I've just been having so much fun this afternoon, I lost track of time.
This date ends in freak out number 2. He immediately starts talking to this woman about how he wants her to quit her job and have his kids, and she gets freaked out by that.
Well, I like my teaching job.
Oh, you wouldn't have time for a teaching job, not with the kids.
Kids. You know what, I'm gonna go.
She gets up to leave and the doctor says, can you tell me what I'm doing wrong? And she tells him.
You're the doctor, not me, but I think you need to see a therapist.
And he takes that criticism calmly in stride.
And then you can go straight to hell. I offer you a future, a life of a paradise. And what do? You throw it back in my face. I don't need to touch you. I'm unfriending you.
Now, it's been established that phones are a part of this world. How did nobody start recording? I mean, I don't think people would break down the situation correctly, but this would end up on YouTube. Karen storms out of restaurant after kind man offers to pay her bills. And I have to say this, every man in this world is depicted as, at best, an idiot, and at worst, the definition of evil. Because the boyfriend didn't message Sophie for a week after her open heart surgery. And his reason is that he's really bummed out because doctors say he can never run at full speed again.
They told me I'm never gonna run full speed again.
And I know, soccer scholarship, right? This is very disappointing news to him. It's just really funny that it's put run at full speed. Just a doctor being like, listen, you can't go over 15 miles an hour. You're like a broken car now. So now let's talk a little bit about the stalking. The doctor follows Sophie and her friend to a restaurant that they're going to.
Hi, Sophie.
He really wants to impress Sophie and her friend, so he pays for their food. You might think that would require pulling out a wad of cash.
Here, wait. Here we go.
Oh, wow.
You saw it right. That was a $50 bill. I know for a fact, before they shot this scene, they forgot that they needed a $100 bill. So the director looks around and says, we need the biggest bill we can find. And some key grip was like, I got a 50, and the director was like, yeah, sure, 50 is okay. The other thing the doctor does that's really funny is when her boyfriend is getting his broken leg checked out, the doctor goes into the room during the exam, because doctors just get to kind of do anything in this world.
Oh, Ryan, how you doing? Remember me?
Yeah, you're the guy who asked my girlfriend to the movies.
Well, that's not why I'm here. I just thought I'd check on you, see how the leg's doing.
Maybe that's true, and if so, that is scary. But the doctor steals the boyfriend's phone and then messages their mutual friend, oh my God, I cannot sleep with Sophie anymore. She looks like the bride of Frankenstein. You know, because of the giant scar that's on her chest now, right? This brings us to the funniest part of the movie. Sophie hears about the text message and confronts her boyfriend about it. And during the course of the conversation, she reveals her mangled, disgusting chest to her boyfriend.
I gross you out, don't I?
No.
Look at me. Look at it.
That's the scar. That's the horrible Bride of Frankenstein scar. This is like a 17-year-old boy we're talking about. And we as an audience are supposed to believe that it's believable he would be deterred from his girlfriend due to that scar. You think I'm a freak, don't you? Look at my scar. No, it's below my heaving bosom and above my abs. So the doctor continues to meddle with their lives, and the mom keeps pushing that they should stop seeing the doctor.
You know, sometimes I get the feeling he's like hitting on you or something.
What? He's older than Dad.
It doesn't matter. God, honey, you are so naive.
And the dad is just like, will you shut up?
You should see the way he looks at me. It's like he's a middle schooler and he wants me to help him lose his virginity.
Okay, what do you want me to do? Report him to the AMA?
Yeah, and I think we should get a restraining order.
And ruin this guy's career?
But the mom eventually just tells the doctor, hey, you cannot see my daughter in a professional setting anymore. And this conversation happens in front of a nurse. I want you to see what happens in this conversation.
I don't want you as her doctor. I don't want you talking to her. I don't want you giving her any gifts. I don't want you coincidentally bumping into her at the mall. Thank you for operating on her heart, but you need to stay away from her. Now give me that.
And then that nurse is just like going back to work after like that nurse is just like, man, hey, women, am I right? Anyway, now the kidnapping happens. The doctor gets a dead body, puts it in Sophie's car, chloroforms Sophie, and then lights that car on fire, so everybody thinks Sophie is dead. The boyfriend gets wind that Sophie can't be dead because the ring on the cadaver's finger doesn't match Sophie's ring. He tells the parents this, and the mom goes, oh, well, that's interesting. And the dad goes, shut up.
The coroner logged in at 12:55, and then Dr. Beck logged in a half hour later.
So who cares?
Meanwhile, Sophie is tied to the bed, and she has the most disturbing conversation in this movie. She's trying to get out, and the doctor is trying to keep her there. So she convinces the doctor that she actually wants to make love to him. She says the reason is while she's lost her virginity, she's never fully had an orgasm. And the doctor goes, well, I've had a full semester of gynecological studies.
I want to know what that feels like. And you're an expert on the human body. You know what to do, don't you?
Well, I did take a full semester of gynecological studies.
And I don't think that's what's going on in gynecological studies. This is not the 1850s. Doctors aren't just finger popping their patients anymore. And it really does bring levity to what would have been a darker point in the movie. Anyway, this movie has an incredible, beautiful ending. Sophie escapes, shows up to her own funeral, and just like we were all hoping for, her boyfriend runs towards her at full speed. Bravo! Now, why is this movie worth a watch? First off, it is truly so entertaining. But second, it kind of gives me hope. I know that sounds weird, but I really mean it. The stuff we watch today is so hyper-curated, and movies in theaters are just there to make $100 billion. Because of that, things have such wide mass appeal, it makes me feel disconnected from pretty much anything that comes out. This, however, as an artist, is like attainable. Lifetime doesn't need to make $1 billion with these movies. They just need to scrape together a camera crew, pay a bunch of actors with booze and pills, and just get somebody to write a movie. It's sort of beautiful, and I love what they cooked up here. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you like this channel, please subscribe and turn on all notifications. And if you want to see me do stand-up comedy live, check me out in the dates at the end of this video. And let me know in the comments what you want me to cover next on Worth the Watch.